Go on, lie down, Pooch.
Oh, I clicked it again. Dagnammit. What is the matter with me? Great fool, dude. Hello. Oh, kissy, kissy. Okay, are you both hot to trot?
Yeah.
Apart from
sit down
out with truffles.
Oh, sit down.
It's good to have a wash after going to the loo. You're right. Yeah. What's Okay. Right. I'll edit that out of the video. Good morning, fellas. So this is part 2 of session 1. So in the last session, we looked at how to model shoes and how to model dice, and we talked about things like the context of Can you see me?
I'm looking at a video
No,
of
you
myself.
Oh, okay. I started video. Right. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So last session, then we looked at how to model a real world by examining a physical item and looking at its context and the nouns involved and the verbs involved and the details that we don't care about. So in the example of the dice, we don't care about the rounded corners because we aren't going to model that in software. And what we're going to do today then is we'll just have a quick recap here. So we looked at the purpose, the color, the style, its context, and the thing that consumes your model. And we got as far as saying these are properties of a D6 dice. It's got a number of sides. We care about its color. We know that it's got a lowest value and a highest value and a current value. And as I recall, Mike astutely said that the purpose of the dice is to generate random numbers, which is perfect. And one other important thing is that we can place the dice and set its value. So clearly rolling the dice will give us a random, and placing the dice is an activity where we choose which number to use. So let's have a look at the class here. Let's present that, make it a bit bigger. So let's have a look at the C# syntax. We briefly in the last video mentioned that when we're defining the attributes of the class, its private and public members, we have this kind of syntax. We have as a scope. So in this case, for the number of sides, it's private. And the reason it's private is nothing else cares about it. When we're consuming a dice, we don't really need to know the number of sides. And if it turns out we do, then we will expose it by making it public. So our syntax is the scope, the data type, so it's an integer, and the name of the member, number of sides. So there we go, private, integer, number of sides. Similarly, low value, high values, they're both whole numbers. Color we're going to use as a string, and the current value is similarly an integer. Okay, so here's our special method on the class. So we recall briefly that the verbs in a model are sometimes called functions in programming languages, and sometimes called methods, and sometimes called actions. So we have in C# and the .NET platform, we tend to refer to functions as methods. And here you can see one special method called D6, and one not so special method called roll, and another one called place. The roll method has a similar sort of syntax. We place its scope. We decide what the return value type is, and in this case, we're not returning anything. So we're marking this as void, and if you don't understand what that means, you soon will. And the method's called roll. Similarly for place, we don't have a return value. It's just an action which changes the state of our instance. But we do pass in a parameter. We're passing in the value that we want it to be. When we place the dice, we need to write what it is. Okay, special method, the constructor. This has its own return type. So if we have a constructor method for D6, the thing that you get back is a D6. So this is like taking the blueprint of a car and having some machinery assemble that car and give you the car at the end of the process. And that's basically what our runtime environment does. When we say we want a new D6, It looks at this blueprint, okay, this class definition, and it has all the information it needs to say, here's a D6 for you. Okay, so why don't we fire up Visual Studio and let's write this class. Let's do it. Okay, right, I seem to have my my usual problem here, so bear with me. I'm just going to pause the recording. Oh, twat. Push the freaking zoom button again. Jeebus. Okay.